Greetings and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Kiyonah. May you be blessed. I have a lot of thoughts in my head today about how we can really continue to liberate ourselves in real life. And for a little while now, I've been really focused on the ascension process, which involves awakening, awareness, alignment, activation, ascension, and it's really complex and huge, but yet really simple and pure. But the basic messages I'm hearing today have to do with three things. Number one is liberating ourselves with worthiness, which leads to the resurrection of the divine feminine in your life, and which involves the integration of your divine self with your daily self, and how we can really do that in real life. So a lot of conscious spiritual people have the goal of that integration and wholeness and completion and ascending, because it not only makes your life better, but it helps to liberate the whole world. And we hear a lot of teachings and talk about this, but I haven't heard a whole lot about how you actually do it in your real life. And a lot of times, or for centuries, humans have focused on obedience. Obedience to a paradigm, obedience to a religion, obedience to a philosophy. And the ascension process says that it's more about alignment. So let's say that if we want to liberate ourselves from worthiness, then I think that means that we have to unconditionally love ourselves as well. And if we ever experience trauma, neglect, or abuse, then we're going to have an inherent sense of being less than totally worthy. And we're going to have fears, we're going to have addictions, we're going to have distractions, we're going to have procrastination, we're going to have perfectionism, and lots of things that make us stumble on our path, because we always feel like we're not worthy yet, we're not ready yet, and maybe we never will be. And so a person who can sit in their own authority and their own truth is someone who feels worthy to love themselves, for lack of a better word, or to esteem themselves, the freedom and expansiveness to be who they really are, and to know that whoever needs to resonate with that will resonate with that, And so in trying to liberate ourselves, a lot of times in the past, people have followed a path of obedience to live a certain way in order to develop characteristics in yourself and get self-control and to control the world. And we're finding that that's unraveling a lot, And instead of obedience to external paradigms and thought forms, you can focus on alignment to things like unconditional love and unconditional love to yourself. So what does that process look like? Well, I smoke tobacco, and I wish I did not, because I feel like a slave to it. It feels enslaving. It doesn't even always feel medicinal, So I ask myself, what need is this filling? Where was I neglected? Where did I get a feeling of being unworthy, so that smoking cigarettes comforted me and made me feel relaxed and connected again. Connected to my true self, connected to real life. And try to get to that core wound. Maybe it's an oral fixation from not being able to nurse as a baby or something. I have no idea. But I can begin to practice that awareness and alignment by becoming aware of it. Matt Kahn suggested that if you want to stop smoking, then before you light up, and you're going to light up and you're going to smoke, before you light up, say to yourself, This is the most loving thing that I can do for my body right now. And either believe that, or let your body or your various bodies tell you, no, this isn't healthy, I don't really want to do this, and you lose your appetite for it. So it's a long process of liberating yourself from any sense of unworthiness from early lives of abuse or neglect. My partner is very non-material. He's like a monk. But I would like to have certain nice material things. And he is extremely stubborn and set in his ways about it. Maybe he's more evolved than me. But for me, I grew up and lived a life of feeling unworthy and less than. And having those nice things healed my sense of unworthiness. It made me feel worthy. So I can look at that and say, yes, I do appreciate and enjoy nice things. But what can I do to heal so that this is an optional pleasure? I'm enjoying it for just what it is, rather than something necessary that feels a need to feel worthy. Because as we evolve and as when we die in this life and other lives, we're going to leave everything behind except for our essential selves. We're not going to have beliefs and crutches and addictions and material things and things like that. We're going to be revealed as our true body of light, you know. So it's good practice to confront these things lovingly and consciously, so that you can let go of the clinging to it, so that it just becomes an option instead of feeling a need. And then you're liberated from that need because you feel worthy, even without a possession in the world. You know, you can enjoy and appreciate it when you have it, but you don't feel disconnected from the world because you don't have it. And that's an ongoing process for me to deal with those kind of things. You know, we keep getting our identities from our life story and the things that we own and the things that we do. And that's like a crutch, you know. And it's to make you more worthy and more deserving and more good and more valuable and just more everything. And I'm not disputing whether it's good to do that, because it is good to do all that stuff. But you have to be able to know your core essential self in order to be liberated from some kind of enslavement to these identities that we're acting out here on earth. We take it seriously because it's real, but we don't want to take it that seriously, that we're all wrapped up in it and we believe in it. Because then you're not liberated, you know? Not liberated from the love, but liberated from the attachment and the suffering and things like that. So I need nice material things. I need to go on road trips. I need to have my house at a comfortable temperature. I need these things because it makes me feel worthy. Like I'm worthy to take good care of me, you know. If I don't have those things, then I feel upset because I feel like I must not be worthy, or the person doesn't really love me. So that shows me like a mirror, someplace where I can heal in myself. So that yes, I appreciate and I enjoy those things, but I don't need them in order to feel like I'm worthy or to prove my worthiness. And if you were neglected by your family in any way, physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual, then you do have some work to do to heal that. Unless you're just really a pure saint, and bless your heart if you are. I bow to you in respect. But for a lot of us other people, you know, it's a process of reprogramming, realigning, recalibrating ourselves to get rid of the junk and anything that does not serve the greater good or the highest good or the best good. You know, gradually letting it go, like letting go of smoking, letting go of materialism, letting go of these things. Enjoying and appreciating them if you want, but otherwise being free of the need for it, because you have loved yourself unconditionally. Wherever you were not loved, it's good to give yourself that love and indulgence and comfort, and don't keep repeating the same programs of your family of origin or your school or your nationality or whatever, and just strip it down, to what's pure and empty. When you go through journeys of the hero, you do get stripped of everything that you thought you were. Your reputation, your dreams, your possessions, your families. You get torn limb from limb, metaphorically. And then you have to put yourself back together again. And before you put yourself back together again, you find out who and what you really are without all the things that give you an identity in the world. And that's when you have to be careful, because you could end up taking on a new identity as a survivor, as a victim, as someone who's broken or wounded or whatever. And that's not where the story is supposed to end, We're supposed to learn what we can from it with compassion and find a way to process it and release it and welcome in new vibrations and new manifestations. And we will waste a lot of time until we realize that. And then, it doesn't just happen all at once, instantly, once you're aware of it. You work on it each time something comes up. Like, I'm still smoking, and I'm signed up for a quit smoking program that gives you medicine and gum and counseling and all that. And you have to prepare yourself for a month before your quit date, and then keep doing it all the time for at least 3 months. So it's a long process of this. And during that journey, I plan to question what role smoking has in my life and what it does for me and why I do it. And understand it and give it love and attention that wasn't given to it by anyone else. And once it gives you its lesson, it tends to dissipate. And it's not like you're trying to be obedient and say, okay, I quit smoking, I'm never smoking again, now I'm a non-smoker. Smoking is off limits for me and I have to get other people to stop smoking too. To me, that's the old paradigm. The new paradigm involves things like continuing to smoke while you need it or want it and saying, this is the most loving thing I can do for myself right now. And I'm evolving towards doing other loving things instead. So for now, this is somehow my way of loving myself until I figure out how to really love myself. And then be doing the medicine, doing the coaching, committing myself to being free of this addiction. Not forbidding myself from smoking, but specifically being free of the addiction. I smoked a lot when I was homeless and when I was in an abusive marriage. Number one, it killed my appetite, so I didn't have to eat. It was easier to find snipes on the ground and smoke them or get hand-rolled tobacco or whatever than it was to try to eat and get food together, cook and things, because of being homeless and being mobile. And then it kept me company in my solitude when I would sit in my van alone or sit way out in the woods alone or whatever. And it would somehow make me feel connected with myself and feel calm in the midst of my surroundings, whatever they were. So to love myself, I need to find ways to do that differently, to tune into what I would do right now, like maybe pranic breathing through a large straw. Like I'm pretend smoking. I'm smoking prana instead of tobacco. And just be thinking of ways to liberate myself in ways that make me feel worthy. Like I'm worthy to have clean lungs. I'm worthy to not be out of breath when I'm walking. I'm worthy to smell good and have nice hands. I'm worthy of that. I'm not a piece of shit. I'm not homeless. I'm not meant to be in total solitude. And that's what smoking does. It keeps me in that vibration. And it's a comfort zone because it went on for so long. And now I'm enslaved by it. And I want to be liberated from it. So I would take time to look at all those little issues, which don't usually get covered in the stop smoking programs. I'm going deep into it. And I don't plan to ever forbid myself from smoking. I just plan to heal my addiction to it. So I just want to encourage you today to think about how you can liberate yourself from previous neglect or abuse that might have made you feel unworthy or have procrastination or perfectionism, or these things that hold us back from our full divine radiance. And just pick one issue and do the meditation where you integrate your divine self into your daily self, where you begin with a golden seed atom in your very centermost being, and you expand it out bigger and bigger with psychedelic colors and sacred geometry and flowers of life, until it's going through all of your chakras and spinning all of them, not just the 7 main ones, but all of them, even the ones in your hands and your feet, backs of your knees and under your arms and the back of your neck and everywhere. And picture this liquid light of all different colors going all through your veins and lighting up every cell in your being with prana, with good life force energy in the air. It's energy, it's in the air, but it's the energy in the air. Fill yourself up on that and start radiating that, and then meditate on this issue that developed because of woundedness and neglect and suffering, like smoking or materialism or addiction. And tell yourself that it's okay, you're here now and you're aware of it, and you're going to give yourself the love that you didn't give yourself before, the consciousness you didn't have before. To say, I would rather have this than what I've been doing all along. I would rather do it this way. So I'm going to try. I'm going to start small, just do it spontaneously when I remember to, and see if I can start growing that in my life. Liberating yourself through wholeness, integration, and worthiness. You know, it's worth looking at for yourself. No matter what your relationship is, if it's relationship to food, relationship to work, relationship to people or yourself, you know, everything, as Matt Kahn says, everything needs more love, not less. And in order to do this, we need to revive the divine feminine in ourselves and not be so masculine, saying, you know, you need to get your ass in gear and get your butt kicked in line and all that, and get it together and obey a spiritual program or something. You just need to get into alignment with unconditional love and courage and compassion for yourself, and heal any woundedness or neglect that could possibly make you feel unworthy. Like I bite my nails and I smoke tobacco. You know, obviously something needs healing. When I stop doing those things, I'll know that I made a breakthrough. You know, and then you want to integrate your divine self with your daily self, and continue nourishing the divine feminine in your being, in your life. That's what's going on right now. I'm not saying it's what's going on forever from now on, but that's what's going on right now. Balancing, bringing back the divine feminine, the compassion, the nurturing, the comforting, and integrating your divine self into your daily self by telling your daily self that you're here now, you're awake, you're aware, you're graduating to the next level, as Matt Kahn says. He's such a great teacher, you have to look him up. So there's a lot of good downloads, a lot of good transmissions going on right now. If you can open yourself to receive them, you will feel very much more connected that way, even than receiving it from other people. You know, back when I was first trying to develop my spirituality, I liked to do automatic writing, where I just emptied my mind and I had a blank piece of paper and a pen in my hand, and I would just start out scribbling, and it would gradually start turning into words, and it felt like messages. You know, a lot of times the stuff that came through was really profound. I felt like I was channeling Jack Kerouac for a while, and a few other people. Maybe I was, maybe I wasn't. Maybe it was just my higher self, or that aspect of me that's like him. But whatever it was, it worked to kind of get me moving in that direction. And I liberated myself from the publishing standards that say grammar has to be this way, plot has to be that way, character has to be like this. Now the fiction world is a lot more open to all kinds of magical fiction and creative nonfiction and stuff, but back then it wasn't like that. Back then you had to have an agent, they had to approve your manuscript, it had to go through all these boards, you know, at the publishing house, etc. Now you're liberated and free to write any way you want, including stream of consciousness, comic book style, poetry style, and on and on and on. So liberation is wonderful. It's expansive. And it's healing and realigning as well. Anytime you hear a sound like that, it can be like a bell of awareness to bring you back to the present moment. You could see it as an interruption or an irritation or something if you really want to. But really the fact is that you can choose to perceive it however you want. You can perceive it as a bell of awareness to bring you back fully to the present moment because it's got your attention with its loudness. Or you can use it as a chance to discharge some irritation and rant for a minute. I find that is like rehearsing craziness, though, and it increases the static in the air that can lead to anger and resentment. So I prefer to breathe deeply, just relax into the sensation of the sound, and see it as a bell of awareness in the present moment. And that liberates me from the irritation of interruptions. So there you go. So I'll wrap it up for now. So remember to be beautiful and be free and be true to yourself. Remember to be blissed and be blessed and be a blessing. And as you go through your day, remember to take care and take it easy. And until I talk with you again, namaste and blessed be.